Welcome to a new video. In today's video we are going to be looking at John Cage's 4 minutes 33. John Cage's 4 minutes 33, it's pronounced 4 minutes 33 seconds apparently, is arguably one of the most revolutionary and debated pieces of music in the 20th century. Premiered in 1952, the piece consists of the performers, it could be one performer or multiple performers, not playing their instruments for a total duration of 4 minutes and 33 seconds. This radical approach challenged conventional notions of music, performance and listening, questioning what music is and can be. So this lecture will delve into the concept, history, reception, philosophical underpinnings, and the lasting impact of 4 minutes 33 seconds on the world of music and beyond. Potential lasting impact anyway. First, let's start with the concept and structure of 4 minutes 33 seconds. 4 minutes 33 seconds is structured in 3 movements, each with a specified duration, adding up to 4 minutes and 33 seconds in total. But it should be noted that the work can last any length of time. Importantly, the score instructs the performer to remain silent throughout the piece, with the only activity being the markings of the beginning and end of each movement, typically by closing and opening the piano lid or some other visual cue. So it could be turning the page, for instance. I think that is involved in some of the performances I've seen as well. The score, when published, contained the word tacit for each movement, which is a traditional musical term indicating that the performer should be silent. So for the musicians of you out there, when you see tacit, it just means do not play. You are not playing. The central idea behind 4 minutes 33 seconds is the concept of silence. However, as Cage himself noted, true silence does not exist. Instead, the piece is meant to bring attention to the ambient sounds in the environment. The rustling of the audience, the sound of the wind, distant traffic, or the hum of the building. These sounds become the music of the piece, and the role of the audience shifts from passive listeners to active participants, creating and experiencing the sound. They create the sound themselves just by existing. Cage's encounter with an anechoic chamber at Harvard University was pivotal. In the chamber, he expected to experience complete silence, but instead heard 2 sounds. One high, this was his nervous system, and one low, this was his blood circulation. This experience led Cage to realise that silence is an illusion. There are always sounds to be heard if one listens. And I take something from this personally as well, and I don't know if I've read it somewhere, or if I learnt it in discussions with some people, or if I went to a lecture and somebody said this. I don't know where the knowledge has come from in my head, but if silence does not exist, because you'll always hear your own body functioning. Therefore, if you went into an anechoic chamber and were not alive, you could say, oh, you would experience true silence because you wouldn't hear your nervous system and your blood circulation. However, to be dead, you wouldn't be able to perceive that anyway. So it's a paradox, isn't it? Can't ever truly experience genuine silence. How could it possibly exist without you being dead? We don't even know if you'd perceive it beyond that point. Anyway, if the world is all vibrations, like I can hear a humming now. What is that noise? I've probably got too many electrical things on in this room, to be fair, because I'm filming a video. Oh, it's this plug socket. The influence of Zen Buddhism also played a crucial role in shaping the piece. Zen's emphasis on mindfulness, presence and the beauty of the ordinary encouraged Cage to consider all sounds, even those traditionally deemed non-musical, as worthy of attention. And I think he's right. He makes a very valid point. As an avant-garde composer, I've experienced a lot of weird sounds, and my first avant-garde composition, I remember thinking it was the worst thing I ever wrote. Avant-garde composition. It was pastiche, obviously. Now I hear sounds and I think, ooh, that's a really nice sound. Actually, I think we're all the same. ASMR, for instance, that's all different sounds, isn't it, that we can really like. I think as a society we've developed. ASMR now is kind of like avant-garde music, like what he would be experiencing. And we really like that, don't we? We like the sound of tapping and crunching and things. But back then, when somebody presented that and put it on a stage in front of an audience, people were like, what are you doing? This is weird. We listen to ASMR and it's fine. Maybe the context does matter. Let's look at the historical context and the premiere of 4 minutes 33 seconds. So, as you know, I'm making a series of lectures on post-war avant-garde movements, or avant-garde starting from the 20th century, or just pioneering avant-gardeness. Maybe we could look at pre-20th century as well, because to be avant-garde is just to be new, and that's been going on for centuries. 4 minutes 33 seconds emerged in a period of significant experimentation and questioning of artistic norms in the post-World War II era. Artists and composers were increasingly challenging traditional forms, looking for new ways to express the complexities of the modern world. The avant-garde movement, which included figures like Marcel Duchamp and movements like Dadaism and Surrealism, influenced Cage. These movements questioned the nature of art itself, laying the groundwork for Cage's radical rethinking of music. Yes, and we shall explore Dadaism and Surrealism in more detail, because again, I keep saying it's good to explore all these different movements, because they all do connect. So if we look at Dadaism and Surrealism, then we can go to John Cage and go, I understand this a bit more now, I see where you're coming from. The piece was first performed by pianist David Tudor on August the 29th, 1952, at the Maverick Concert Hall in Woodstock, New York. Tudor sat at the piano, marked the beginning and end of each movement by opening and closing the piano lid, and otherwise remained silent. Well, or he remained still. I don't know, did he remain silent? Silence does not exist. The audience's reaction was mixed, as you will understand. It ranged from confusion and frustration to curiosity and appreciation. Many were baffled, expecting a traditional musical performance, and were instead confronted with what appeared to be nothing. Cage's approach to 4 minutes 33 seconds was to redefine what music could be. He sought to dissolve the boundaries between music and noise, composer and audience, performance and environment. The piece suggests that music is not solely about organised sounds created by instruments or voices, but includes all sounds in the environment. In doing so, Cage asks listeners to broaden their definition of music, to include everything they hear. And why not? Why do we set the boundaries of what music is and what it isn't? Why do we develop music in the way we have? Why can't it be all sounds? Why is ASMR not music? Maybe it is. Should it be? By removing the conventional content from the performance, Cage shifted the focus of the composer's intention to the audience's experience. 4 minutes 33 seconds places the responsibility of creating the musical experience on the listeners and the surrounding environment. This shift reflects Cage's philosophy of indeterminacy and chance. This was influenced by a study of Zen Buddhism and the I Ching. It's a democratic approach to music making where the composer relinquishes control and the outcome is unpredictable. So he would give more control to the audience and the environment and the unpredictabilities of things like instruments and rooms and hums and ambient sounds, people in the audience shuffling and moving. Silence is a form of music. Cage's conception of silence was not the absence of sound, but the presence of sound without intentional organisation. That's the thing. Because he couldn't remove sound completely, but silence is just sound that we have no control over. It's not organised, it's just the presence of sound. 4 minutes 33 seconds invites listeners to become aware of the silence and the wealth of sounds it contains. This awareness aligns with Zen practices that emphasise mindfulness and being present in the moment. 4 minutes 33 seconds becomes a meditative experience, where listening itself is the act of music making. That's interesting. The act of listening is the act of music making. I sound a bit manic now, don't I? Calm myself. Listening becomes the act of music making. I like that. It's an iterative hermeneutic framework. Listening is the act of creating music, music being the silence which doesn't exist, it's the noise and stuff you make, but then you listen to the self doing that, and almost it's like he's tricking us into meditating, isn't it? Because Buddhists would say you start with the breath, start by being in control of the breath. So maybe he is tricking us into being mindful. He is! He's tricking us into being mindful. That's mindfulness, isn't it? When you start to listen to the sounds around you, that's mindfulness. That's 4 minutes 33 seconds. Mindfulness is 4 minutes 33 seconds. That's the whole point. And I guess he was doing it in a time where people weren't widely aware of this. Now we all know about mindfulness, and we all do ASMR stuff. We all do this stuff. But that's what he was doing back then. He'd brought it to the concert hall. He'd just brought mindfulness to the concert hall. And it was weird because we don't expect to get mindfulness in the concert hall. We want to escape and listen to music. That's why people are like, what are you doing? Oh, it's becoming clearer. See, this is why it's important to study everything. The initial reaction to 4 minutes 33 seconds was mixed. Some saw it as a groundbreaking exploration of sound and silence, while others dismissed it as a prank or an emperor has no clothes stunt. Critics who appreciated the piece praised its conceptual boldness, while sceptics derided it as nonsensical or pretentious. So yes, some of you out there do think it's nonsensical and pretentious. Some of you may be like, I get it, I get the silence and the sound and stuff. These views are valid. They were valid back then. We have not changed. Cage anticipated and welcomed these diverse reactions, seeing them as part of the work's engagement with the audience's preconceptions and expectations. Yes, because I have talked about this in another video. Your own preconceived ideas about something influences the way you interpret a thing, and if you go to a concert expecting to hear music, then of course you're going to be baffled and confused. But this is good for Cage. He wanted to engage that. He wanted to get audiences to think about that. That is what he wanted in the piece. And then others might be like, yeah, I heard the silence, I was mindful for a moment, I learned that silence doesn't exist. That's also good. Cage wants that as well. He wants all these interpretations. That's what the piece is about, because you engage with your own preconceptions about what you expect. Why do you think it's weird? What do you expect to hear in a concert? What would not be weird? And why do you think that? Long-term influence now. Over time, 4 minutes 33 seconds has become one of the most famous and influential pieces in modern music, you could say. It's certainly written about a lot. It paved the way for subsequent developments in minimalism, conceptual art, and sound art, influencing composers, artists, and performers across artistic disciplines and genres. For instance, the piece has been cited as a precursor to the work of artists like Yoko Ono, the Fluxus movement, and the development of ambient music. It has become a touchstone in discussions about the nature of music and art, continuing to inspire debate and reinterpretation. So yes, you can reinterpret this piece if you want. Maybe it will help you come up with something new and enlightening. Share it, because I think that's the point of the piece as well. Beyond the realm of music, 4 minutes 33 seconds has been interpreted as a critique of consumer culture, an exploration of the nature of art and aesthetics, and a meditation on presence and mindfulness in a fast-paced, noise-saturated world. The piece encourages a rethinking of what constitutes an artistic experience, inviting everyday sounds and experiences into the realm of art. In doing so, it has contributed to a democratisation of art, challenging elitists' notions of what is worthy of aesthetic consideration. In an age dominated by constant media and digital noise, 4 minutes 33 seconds continues to offer a powerful statement on the value of silence and the art of listening. It reminds us of the richness of our sonic environment and the potential for meaningful experience in the ordinary and unintentional. The piece invites contemporary audiences to question their relationship with sound and silence, presence and distraction, and the boundaries between art and life. 4 minutes 33 seconds has been performed and interpreted in countless ways since its premiere. The piece has been performed by orchestras, adapted for various instruments, and even used as a protest statement, demonstrating its versatility and the wide range of meanings it can inspire. By inviting us to listen to silence, Cage challenges our preconceived notions of music and encourages a deeper engagement with the world around us. Sometimes the most profound experiences come not from what we hear, but from how we listen. Thanks for watching. This has just been a bit about John Cage. I'll have some recommended books and listenings on the board behind me and in the comments down below. Feel free to check them out. And if you have any questions, please message. If you want me to talk about anything else, please do. I'm rushing a bit because the battery's on like 1 bar. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.